Biggie. What up, baby? Yo, you're damn right. Silence my phone here. Bang, bang. All right, baby. 5 o'clock. You ready? Let's do it.
Let's go. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't make it dance. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, yeah, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in. Okay, drop a song and pop up on your phone like I was you to connect.
It is Inside Eagles Redzone podcast here on Monday, April 7th, 2025. Tarek Williams, joined as always by Matt Namo. Matt, what's going on?
Biggie. Monday. Rainy, ugly Monday. A little cold. The cornerbacks should warm us up, though. You know, how you doing, man? It's been a good day.
Yeah, it's been a real good day. The rain's kicking butt. I don't know what's going on. I see a little bit north of me, probably further north of you, we got snow. So I'm glad we don't have to deal with that nonsense.
Wild.
Yeah. It's I don't understand this. It's April. Dude, I remember last year it was like, WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah,
dude, it was freaking cold. Yeah. It came up on today on my memories on my phone. It was like, oh yeah, WrestleMania. And I'm like, damn. And like, it was night 2 yesterday. I'm like, shoot. Like, it's wild though. But dude, it was cold. No, yeah, hell froze over, Chris. Yeah, hell freezes over. Hell will freeze over when you show up. Still,
that's true. You got 2. Hell froze over twice. Let's go.
Yeah, I was gonna freeze over.
A third time.
It might actually snow. It'll be like May. It'll be like May and it'll be snowing. But a lot of things to get into. That's not even a word, Chris. Come on, the heat. What are you talking about? AP's back.
Yeah, she was Cancun sipping.
Yeah, she was over there hanging out. But man, there's some stuff we got to get into before we get into the corner portion of the show. You know, me and you talked this morning for 30 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking about this a little bit, and to kind of have that conversation about, you hit me up early this morning asking me about, AEW, and we don't really talk much. We talk wrestling here and there. But I'm kind of starting to, I'm working most of these pay-per-views on these Sundays. It's a lot of the stuff is my Friday, Saturday off.
They almost cover half your shift.
Yeah. So I'm starting to like, as much as I want to sit there and have that same conversation. I'm not even going to have that conversation with you again on this wrestling because it's repetitive and it's just kind of stupid. But I start to kind of feel that like that conversation I had about eating the shit this morning. You remember the conversation? So I think that portion kind of when I think more and more about how I said it, I think it's just the time aspect of you're sitting there and everything goes great when the show is good. You don't feel like you're wasting time. But when these wrestling companies, and I've seen it, as going to indies for 20 plus years, going to indie shows, and I think about a conversation I had on Saturday night about it, and because there's a independent wrestling show probably about 6 minutes from my house, and I think it all comes down to nowadays in my viewing of wrestling is just my enjoyment of my time. Uh, the just because I'm a people kind of clump you in and say, oh, you're a wrestling fan, you should be able to watch this or that. I think nowadays, looking into my wrestling fandom, I'm not here to waste my time. And people are like, oh, independent show, 5 minutes from your house. Well, who's on the show? And somebody was telling me, oh, well, what does it matter? Well, why am I putting money into something that I have no interest for? Like, at that point, let me just put $20 and just give it to some homeless person. And I'd be better off just giving him the $20 and letting him go, oh, like, thank you. Like, I appreciate it. Than me putting money into something I have no idea. And it's kind of funny because last night, and I always, I'm not watching it. I'm watching like a couple, like a minute here, 2 minutes here. But my big thing, and we have the same circle. Matt, you've been around the circle. I go off of wrestling, the reactions are, and I don't think I've ever heard the phrase that you have to kind of watch. You kind of have to watch it. I get that. You kind of have to watch it and view it for yourself. But my big thing is the reaction that wrestling gets. Matt, I was behind the scenes for backyard shows, and you'd hear the pop, and you go, "Oh shit!" Like something's going on. Well, it's like nowadays with this wrestling, you hear these oohs and ahs and and you just wonder, like, what's going on? So you turn it on and you go, ugh. But I think just wrestling in general is becoming more of a, and there's so much internet outrage of, oh, you don't support it, you're a hater, and it's like, dude, you can enjoy whatever you want. It's a free at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, you can enjoy your comedy, you can enjoy your movies, you can enjoy your wrestling, and like there's so much outrage of others. It's like, worry about yourself, and I'll worry about myself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people. I don't know.
Well, as with any form of entertainment, sports included, if you think it's not worth your time, then you should not watch it.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with wrestling in more forms of in one of the more, you see it more in wrestling more than other forms of entertainment, is not that they hate wrestling, but a lot of people go out of their way to watch things that they hate. Where like with that show last night, I thought going into it, they haven't done a pay-per-view in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is historically a very popular, a very big wrestling city. You had, obviously with the WWF and Vince's father's territory, they ran fucking Baltimore, Philly, New York, and they'd go up to Boston. And then eventually even Jim Crockett Promotions ran in Philadelphia. WCW wants to turn into that ran in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia, ECW, we all, obviously everyone from this area knows about ECW, whether you like wrestling or not. I thought they would go into this show with the whole let's impress Philadelphia so we can come back, make a strong showing. I watched up until the beginning of the TNT title match. I said, guess what? This isn't worth my time. I'm going to bed. And that's all it has to be. If your sports teams are giving you that feeling, take a break. They're not going anywhere. They'll come back. If wrestling is making you do that, that's when I was like, guess what? I don't have to watch the rest of the show. I'm going to bed. It's not satisfying me. But instead, people will sit there and continuously consume it, and it'll drive them absolutely crazy when you just got to learn to step away and let it go. Just like a TV show, not every episode's good. Not every movie is good. Sometimes it's okay to just go, this isn't for me tonight. I'll check it out another time. And then if they continuously waste your time, then you should be like, guess what? Maybe I shouldn't watch this anymore. Sports teams, I don't know. It's very different because geographical allegiances, and it's real. So, you kind of like get into bed with those teams and just ride with it and suffer with it. But hey, we talked about the Sixers. Guess what? I watched like 4 games. The 4th game, I said, I hate this team this year. I hate the owner. I'm done. Haven't watched a game since. And guess what? It's okay. Guess what? I still know the Sixers suck. But it doesn't impact me because I made that declaration earlier that this wasn't for me this season, so I'm out. And
you mentioned the Sixers. You mentioned the Sixers, Matt.
Yes.
And I found out something today that now people I see a trend. I don't know if you've caught on to it because we haven't really discussed this at all. But there is a trend on TikTok, Twitter. There is all types of these insane influencers, and I found out something. And you're gonna probably, once I tell you this, you're probably gonna go like, duh. There's these influencers that are claiming that Sixers tickets for courtside seats are $20. $20. That they've gotten courtside seats, and there's also packages for $70, $80 that you get unlimited food, you get unlimited alcohol. Okay, so I was curious yesterday, and I was, after I got off the phone, I went to go look if that's true, and I discovered not only is that not true for that price, but you're looking at, 10 times that amount for what people are claiming. So your $78 is 10 times what you're really paying for that. I don't know where these influencers are $78 because of what that package that people are looking. They want $780 for courtside seats. And some of these people, and I literally used what websites they used, and I went, no, like there was a game, I think they play the Atlanta Hawks. Like, I don't know if it's this week, I'm not sure. But they want $2,938 for third row. I don't see no $79 tickets. I see $2 seats. Yes, I've seen $2 seats. Matt, they are the last row in that stadium. You know how much tickets, okay, were back in the day? But how much are you paying for parking? How much are you paying for food?
Yep.
That's not $79 for unlimited alcohol and unlimited food. No. And that's not courtside seats. So a lot of these influencers, when you see influencers, do your research. And yeah, like it's all bullshit. So
yeah, I haven't seen that. That's actually funny as shit.
Yeah, I have to send you that because everybody's like, "Oh, tickets, Sixers tickets, very low." I don't, all the way up in the fucking nosebleeds. Yeah, of course. That was like $10 tickets 3 years ago. You could find $10 tickets on a Tuesday. On a weekend, you're not getting that. Yeah. Sorry. Bye, influencers. But let's get into the cornerback tape. We're just going to keep rolling. Which one do you want to start with?
We're going to start with Siobhan Revel from ECU. Excuse me. There we go. Got that going. Let's let the tape start. So, Siobhan Revel, coming off of an injury, only played 13 games of college. He's 6'2", 194 pounds, ran a 4.40. You've seen projections as high as like first and end of first round. Archetype, outside zone corner. You know what? I'll read my little summary before we really go into the strengths and weaknesses. But regarding Siobhan Revel, Revel has ideal length and speed to be a top corner at the next level. There's some good things on tape as well. He uses his length in press while playing man and while making plays on the ball. He has great makeup speed to close on routes when in zone and if he's beaten in man coverage. He does tend to get grabby and handsy if it gets beat, which could lead to flags in the NFL. When in zone, he can be overly aggressive when attempting to jump routes. Also, playing only 15 games makes me wonder how good he really is. That's the big thing with Revel. You like the size. You like the 6'2". You like the 4.40. You like the length. Does a lot of good things, but 15 games. Now, you could look at it. Hey, look at the raw potential this kid has already shown. And what can we do to extrapolate that and make that even better? Or some guys not picking it up, and this is he kind of already is what he is. His strengths, though, he uses length to his benefit, transitions with hip fluidity, elite recovery speed, attacks and tackles in the run game, and he shows that he has a very high football IQ. Weaknesses, the injury was an ACL injury, obviously grabby when he gets beat. Not a natural in zone coverage, can be a little flat-footed, and the over-aggressiveness. So quarterbacks are going to try to hit him with those double moves. Receivers are going to try to get a little loose at the top of their routes, especially if they're in zone, and try to make him bite and pay for that. I do like him. I've him ranked 5th. So he's right out of the top 4. Obviously, to rehash on the end of last week, our show last week, we did Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, and Maxwell Hairston. So out of 5 corners so far, I have him 5th, excuse me. It's a lot of question marks, though. Playing at ECU and 13 games is different than Georgia or Alabama in 15 games. The competition level is a little lower. Like you've seen, like that was just a horrible throw by the quarterback there. So just the quarterback talent and receiver talent that he faced while playing a low amount of games kind of makes you question, is he more athletic than the receivers and quarterbacks he went up against, and he looks good on tape because of that? Or is this a skill set that will translate to going up against NFL receivers? So that's the big question marks with Revel. I wouldn't touch him in the first round just because of those questions.
Yeah, I've seen him fall out of, I saw him early kind of fall into that first round, and I've kind of see him go into that second round now.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more comfortable second round taking him just because he's barely been on the field. That's very tough. Very tough to judge a first-round pick or justify a first-round pick off of 15 games against lower-level competition.
I was going to ask you, what did you think of his athleticism?
I think, if he's a guy, if he picks the ball off, he can be gone. I love the length, so I think he's athletically, he's ready for the NFL, and he's got what it takes to be there athletically in the NFL. It's just, can he tie everything together and stay on the field and get the playing time to actually round out and become a good corner?
Right, and he's been a guy didn't play much, like you said, last year with only 3 games. But he's mostly going to play. It looks like he only played regular corner. He didn't they wasn't really in the slot for any of his 17 snaps in 2023. But he was mostly there's I don't know, some upside with him, I think.
Definitely, yeah. And with that size, 6'2", 194, he's definitely made to be strictly outside. Unless you become really elite in zone, you kind of don't want to put those guys out in the slot just with the amount of route combinations that can be run out of that slot position. But certainly could develop into a good outside corner, especially at 6'2". The teams would love that if he can develop.
And that's all. It's a what a if you get a guy in the second, third round, you're looking at development right off the bat.
Certainly.
Who do you want to go after next?
We're gonna go with Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, nicknamed the Human Seatbelt. 6 foot, 193 pounds, ran a 4.39 40. He's a junior. They have him projected mid-second round. Archetype is an outside man press corner. A little slight in the frame, but a very gritty, athletic prospect that I think he will find a way to make it work at the NFL level.
He's another one dipped. They had him early in April of last year. His average draft position, according to PFF, was in the 10s, and he's actually dripped down all the way to the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah, he went as the year went on, he just went down.
A lot of people jumping ahead of him.
Yeah.
It might be
and he's
size.
another one that I've read that a lot of people think that he is also a little grabby.
Yes. That is one of his weaknesses. Struggles against physical receivers, gets aggressive in zones, and plays a little too far up, leading to wide receivers being able to kind of just sneak their route behind him and giving a better window for the quarterback to throw. He can play outside and he can play the slot, which you like that functionality and that positional availability. He's got great ball skills. He uses very good leverage when in man coverage. He's got elite short area quickness. I really like him. He's going to have to get used to. He's going to have to find a way to become a little more technically proficient, even at Notre Dame, even though they played good competition. Even in college, these guys that are super athletic, you saw it. It was one of the knocks on Travis Hunter too. In press coverage, he just relies strictly on his athleticism. But if you can get the technique and become a technician at corner, you're just going to see even more improvements. I like that he uses the sideline as an extra defender. He has great knowledge of that, especially when he's playing outside. Good jump on the ball. So he utilizes that speed. You just want to see him rely less on the hands and more on actual technique, keeping the hips low, opening the hips up on change directions and double moves. But he's a guy that'll go after the ball. He can play in the run game. He's played against great wide receivers. He did a great job against Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2023 when Ohio State played Notre Dame. There he is right there, breaking up another pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. So, elite athlete, solid in zone. He can play man. He can play press. He's got that positional versatility, being able to play slot and playing outside. I have him as my number 4th ranked corner.
And what do you ultimately feel about him being a possible first round pick?
I think he would warrant it more than Revel does. He's played a lot of games. He's been Notre Dame's number 1 receiver, gone up against elite level guys, and I like the fact that the zone coverage, which a lot of the NFL does, he's going to have to work on that. But the fact that Notre Dame ran both man and zone, and he has that short area quickness to make up for that, you can fine tune, you can coach zone depth, and eliminate that problem. And with that football IQ and just naturally using the knowing how to use the sideline as an extra defender, that's a huge plus.
Good one, Chris. Good one. I hope there's 5 quarterbacks and 8 running backs in the first round. Make it a lot easier for Howie Roseman. That'd be fantastic. Maybe you should be
the quarterbacks.
Maybe you should be the general manager of all these teams, plus besides Philadelphia. That'd be great. That'd be like taking candy from a baby.
That is exactly right.
But so what else? Who's the next one? I know you're not the GM.
Mr. Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. Another Ole Miss player we're looking at.
It's like we've done a ton of Ole Miss players this draft process with Princely.
They did not make
Walter
the playoffs.
Nolan. Yeah.
They did not make the playoffs. 6'1", 195 pounds, ran a 4.43. He's a senior, projected to go second round. Outside zone archetype. Cannot talk. He has a lot of good tape and shows promise to be an outside corner in the NFL. Great plant and drive athleticism. He gets a little sloppy in the run game, but he is a very willing run defender, which is rare from a cornerback. The ability for him to break on balls, especially I just talked about it, that drive, that plant and drive on screens, bubble screens, running back screens, any pass to the flat, he is able to get a huge jump and break that play up before it happens. Very good ball skills. These corners that we've been looking at, they're all good with their arm length, and especially with some of them having decent height. Really, that's a big factor into why there's a lot of scouts and whatnot that actually like this cornerback class. All very long, very lengthy. He's able to kind of mirror wide receivers and how they run and, keep up with them while they're running their route pattern. He is a little susceptible to double moves with that aggressiveness. That's going to have to be coached out. And he's another guy, if he gets beat, very handsy. He'll grip you up and not let you go. And, that's a telltale sign of him getting beat. So he's got to fix the tackling technique. He's got to get better in man coverage, not relying on his hands so much. But I think Amos is a very smart player, very good player. Kind of giving me a little, straight up Asante Samuel vibes. That wantingness to make the play, make the jump the route, make the pick. But Asante was also very good at blowing up screenplays and okay in man coverage. Obviously, Amos is a bit bigger, but that playmaking skill and that playmaking ability of Asante Samuel, I think, kind of fits what Amos does.
Huh, that's an interesting comparison.
A little safety attitude in the body of a corner. But right there, that's getting called in the NFL as pass interference all day.
Yeah. I sent you something pretty funny on Twitter. Some fan went up to, ran into Brian Dable and yelled, "Go Birds!" at him.
Yeah.
the lovely thing was
Hitting a good Birds at Brian Dable.
Yeah, he looks so pissed. He's like, oh, fuck.
He's like, shit. I think Amos could end up being a solid number 2, or if he's not technically number 2 on the depth chart and 3+ receiver sets, you would bring him in and put him outside while you have another corner go into the slot. Second round pick, I like it. There's a lot to work with, and I think he can play rookie season and get some snaps. I have Mr. Trey ranked 6th.
Hmm.
You like the
Yeah, I
length,
mean,
like the speed, like the aggressiveness. Just needs to clean up a lot. He's got pretty good technique too.
I was gonna say, what else don't you like on him? Is there anything you don't like on him?
I don't think he does anything spectacular other than the plant and drive. Yeah, I don't like how much he has to rely on his hands, but I like that playmaking ability. That's why I don't think he's not good enough to be your number one shutdown guy. But if you got him on the outside with someone else, I think he'd be okay. The quarterbacks are going to try to attack him with that aggressiveness, but he has the playmaking ability to where if he can get better, and he pretty good in man coverage already with that length, he'll turn into like a pretty solid number 2.
Yeah, and like I said, the rookie year, like
Yeah.
you said, they get into. Um, but you got anything else you want to get into?
Well, we're gonna end with Darian Porter from Iowa State.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I forgot about Porter. I actually forgot about him.
6'3", big boy, 195 pounds, ran 4.340. He's a senior, projected to go 3rd round. Outside man, press corner.
This was one guy that I kind of was like I don't know, reading stuff on him and then watching his tape.
Yeah,
I kind of, yeah, I was not really. I didn't see anything.
I have him ranked 8th.
Yeah.
He's only played corner for 3 years. He's fast as shit though, and to be 6'3" and that fast. Here, you want this is okay. A little lesson time for everyone that listens to this. Now, if you look at his stats, here, okay, a list of strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, great length and speed. Great recovery speed. He's good on special teams, and he understands zone coverage concepts. He's a very good outside cover 3 corner. He did that. I can't say he's very good, but he did that well at Iowa State. He'll use the sideline as a boundary. He understands, like, zone coverage comes natural to him, especially cover 3. He understands the responsibilities of the outside corner. Weaknesses, tight hips. He struggles in quick change situations. He's very raw in his technique. And when he has to run downhill, he's very hesitant. Why he will get drafted is because he's 6'3", ran a 4.340, and corner. So the lesson is, you watch the tape, you look at the player. You don't. It's okay. A 3rd round, 4th, 5th. Honestly, to me, yes. And like I've liked about 95% of the guys we've actually watched. I don't see it here. He's going to be 25 as a rookie. So he's already approaching his physical prime, but he's only played football and cornerback for 3 years. Could he be great on special teams? Hell yeah. He was a former track guy, so he's going to be able, on those snaps, he's going to be able to time that jump and, I mean, like right here, bam, flat out just jump the snap, boom, get a hand on the ball, block the punt, great. Great, you tackled a guy that tripped and fell down. But if you're like that, if you're 6'3", 195 pounds, run a 4.3, and the tape isn't great, you're going to get drafted. One, because football coaches are the most stubborn MFers out there. You kind of have to be stubborn to be a coach and successful at the NFL level. But GMs are also going to look at that athleticism and go, we can do something with this. Because if you find a way to develop him, no, I don't think it'll necessarily be a long career because he's already 25. But you're going to have a freaking freak corner for 5-6 years. You know, maybe he fizzles out by 32. So if you take a year to develop him, you're going to get 6 very good years out of an athletic freak at the position. Could be a complete game changer. But asking me as a football fan and a guy that likes to be a football nerd, I don't know if there's a secondary coach or a D-backs coach that's going to be able to take a guy that's 25, only played corner for 3 years, and mold that into a starting NFL cornerback. You'll get a special teams player. You'll get a guy that could probably return kicks for you. But are you getting a cornerback that you can start as your 1 or your 2? I don't think so. I don't see it.
Yeah, get these coaches that think they can do anything.
Yeah, you have to be that way because if you draft, you don't know if you don't think you can do anything with a player and your team drafts him, like you're there to coach that guy up. If you're a coach, if you're a manager, yes, you don't always get to pick your groceries, but you gotta have the belief that you can turn them into something.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff here on the. Yeah, I was gonna.
Thank you, Chris. We did it Saturday after work.
Kicking ass. Matt getting the love on his look. Matt always should be getting the love on his look.
That's the truth.
Matt, I got nothing else for you today. We're back here Thursday. We'll start safeties on Thursday. But where's he? What's going on over here today?
What is going on? You're going to lose your mask. You're going to find your briefcase with the title in it.
Oh, God. Good Lord. Good Lord. I'm done. With that, I'm done. I'm out of here. Matt, we'll talk to you guys Thursday. Peace.
Let's go. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes Benz. Whoa, yeah, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest.
Oh, we had that down.